What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Stranger Things Tales from 85. It's finally out, all 10 episodes. I've seen all 10 of them. I actually thought it was a weekly release. I did not know they were releasing all 10 at once, which is naively I should have known, considering they did that with the first 3 seasons, and then obviously with the last 2 they kind of broke it up a bit. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about the entire season as a whole. I'm gonna tell you guys everything I liked or I didn't like, if I thought it was good or not. But yeah, let's get right into it. So starting off, I already know this season is going to get so much hate, and most people probably aren't even going to watch it. This season is not going to do very well. I can already tell. And I think that's mainly because of how season 5 was and the ending of the show. Obviously, if you've seen my review, you know I really liked part 1 of season 5. I thought part 2 was really, really lackluster and was pretty mid. And then I thought the finale was decent, but was nowhere near as good as it could have been or should have been. But I'm not someone who hated season 5 by any means. I'm not someone who hated the finale by any means. I think if you thought there was nothing to take from the finale or the final season as a whole, then you clearly were not a fan of the show to begin with. There was a lot of great stuff in that final season, but again, there was a lot of bad stuff. It was nowhere near as good as it should have been, and honestly probably was the worst season of the show. So now fast forward 4 months later, we get Stranger Things Tales from 85, and nobody cares. Nobody's excited for it. Nobody's looking forward to it because they really didn't like the ending of season 5 and the show. And obviously this is a prequel spin-off animated short series that takes place in between seasons 2 and 3. It takes place in January of 1985, which is right before season 3. Season 3 was summer of that same year. And yeah, my overall thoughts, I thought it was pretty good. I did. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It was pretty much exactly how I expected it to be. If you're going into this expecting this to be a huge needle mover in the franchise or in the Stranger Things series of everything, you're going to be disappointed. It was not the idea behind this at all. It was not meant to push the story in any way. And I've already seen a lot of reviews online saying, "Oh, I don't get the point of it. It just doesn't move the story anywhere. It's not taking us anywhere. What was the point? This whole thing was a waste of time." It wasn't. It was meant to be a fun, short, animated series for kids. And that's what this is. It's a children's project. It's for 10-year-olds. You know, and that is one of my biggest things about it, though, is that if you're over the age of, like, 14, you're probably not going to get as much enjoyment out of this as, say, like, a 10-year-old would. Like, the clear target audience is, like, 10. I watched it just simply because I'm a Stranger Things fan, and I love Stranger Things. But in no way was I like going into this, oh my god, this is going to be the best season, this is going to be the greatest spin-off show of all time. No, it's not that at all. It is it's a children's spin-off animated show that's still very entertaining. It's just, again, it's targeted towards a younger audience, so there's no cursing, there's not really any blood for the most part. Most of our adult characters are not really in the show. I mean, for Christ's sakes, there's no Joyce. Joyce isn't in the show. Hopper's in it a little bit. But he does not play a significant role at all. Jonathan is in one scene. You get Steve for 1 episode. You get Nancy for 1 episode. And yeah, you don't really get much. You see Karen once. There's no Murray, no nothing like that. Obviously, Robin wouldn't have been in yet. So it's really just focused on the core group of kids and our new character, Nikki Baxter. But I have to say, I had a very good time with this. As soon as it started, it was like immediately being transported back into that world. It feels like Stranger Things, which I was really worried about. I was like, going into this, I was like, this doesn't feel like Stranger Things to me. But as soon as it got in, it reminded me of why I love this world so much. And it really did feel like a canon part to their universe, and it just felt like Stranger Things to me. To a T. You know, the environments felt very Stranger Things. The colors felt Stranger Things. The music felt very Stranger Things. You know, had this season, infamously, all Stranger Things seasons have always great needle drops. This season was no exception. You had some great Billy Idol, Black Sabbath, tons of great needle drops in here. And And it just, again, it felt like Stranger Things. Another thing I want to say, I really, really thought the voice acting was phenomenal. Specifically for Mike, Max, and Dustin, those three, I swear to God, sound exactly like the real actors to a T, especially like Max. I really thought it was Sadie Sink at first. I'm not lying. I thought for sure it was Sadie Sink until I looked at the cast listing and I was like, because going into it, I knew it was going to be mostly different actors. But then when I started watching the show, I'm like, that sounds like Sadie Sink. There's no way that's not her. And I looked it up, and it wasn't. It's not Sadie Sink. But the actors just do such a great job. They sound so similar. As for Lucas, Lucas 11 and Will sound a little off. You can definitely tell it's not their actors. But like I said, Mike, Dustin, and Max sound fantastic. They sound exactly like their characters. And then I really like the inclusion of Nikki Baxter. I think Nikki was a fun new addition to the series. She wasn't necessarily a unique or like extremely new character in any way. She was kind of just like Jonathan. She's just kind of this outcast, this freak who really doesn't have many friends, and but isn't ashamed of it in any way. She kind of just goes with the flow, and is bold about it. She's very punk rock personality. So yeah, I mean, she wasn't new or really creative in any way, but I still liked her. I thought she added a nice new character to the group. I was shocked at the end that she actually stayed in Hawkins. I thought for sure she was going to be leaving because, spoiler alert, she's not in season 3, 4, or 5. So I guess like the canon is that they just kind of just stopped being friends with her for whatever reason. Or maybe she moved away later, or whatever. But that's another thing I do want to discuss though, is like the how canon is this to the rest of the series, right? Because this season definitely kind of breaks canon a lot, in the sense that it's like the stakes in this show are so high at times, and the enemies they're fighting are so big, literally and metaphorically. It's like that it's kind of crazy that they never mention this at all. It's really like weird. It's like, why was there never a mention of this big creature that they're fighting? The size of this creature is like the size of the Mind Flayer, and it rips open this gigantic gate under Hawkins. It's like, and 11 in the show is doing shit she never was ever capable to do, in the other seasons. She's just lifting big trucks, and I know we saw her lift a van, but she's doing it with ease here. She's like lifting big trucks. She's like floating in the air, and again, I know we've seen her do sort of stuff like this before, but the way it was being done in this show was just insane. Lifting extremely heavy objects, using her powers for way longer than usual. She's very powerful in the show. This is the most powerful we've ever seen 11. It's actually kind of crazy. And so it draws the question. It's like, okay, why was this never talked about then? And obviously we all know the answer. It's because it really never happened. It didn't happen until they chose to say it happened, But like I said, everybody is going to be mad at that, and I'm okay with it, I feel like it's up to you if you want to consider it canon or not. If you don't, you don't. If you do, you do. Then it's fine. I mean, to the Duffer Brothers, it's clearly it's supposed to be canon, because why else would they call it Tales from 85? Like, they're clearly emphasizing the fact that this takes place in between season 2 and 3. They wouldn't emphasize that if they didn't want it to be canon, So while, it's really probably not believable that it is canon, unfortunately for people, it is. It is canon, which I'm okay with. I don't mind. And everything, the animation work in this season was very, very good. I really like this animation style. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's very blocky, but it's like very beautiful, and the animation's gorgeous. I thought it was really good looking. It was good eye candy. It was good to look at. It didn't like it. A great example of this for me, the second Spider-Verse movie. That movie, to me, is some of the ugliest animation I've ever seen in my life. It's like pencil drawing animation, and it's just so much shit going on at once, and weird colors and dots and bubbles and shit. It was ugly. This is not like that. This is not hard to look at. It's crisp, it's clean, and it looks good to me. They almost look like it almost looks like the art design that you see on like the Stranger Things posters, minus the blockiness, but like the drawing art style. Um, and yeah, it's just gorgeous, and the colors are so bright and vibrant. A lot of light greens and reds and oranges and yellows and bright blues and purples. It's very, very vibrant show. As for like the villain of this, again, the villain in this is it's a part of the Upside Down. It comes from the Upside Down, but it gets mixed with this chemical that turns it into a plant-like creature that starts to grow and grow, and it becomes like this queen creature under Hawkins. And again, it kind of has to keep abducting people to survive, and it's spreading, and it's an interesting concept of a villain. Again, I think they overdid it a little bit with how dangerous it is. It's too dangerous. It's like the amount of destruction this thing's able to fucking cause is insane, and then it's like again, like if Vecna couldn't do half the shit this thing was doing. It's like it's just too big. The stakes were too high, and now it's like when they go to the Upside Down to fight the Mind Flayer in season 5, it's like, well, what are you guys shocked about? You just fought a fucking Goliath a couple of years ago. It's like, so again, so when it comes to the villain was good-ish. It was an interesting idea the way they did it. It's just, it's not, it just doesn't make sense really. So yeah, I wish the villain was a little more low-key. Another interesting thing, which this is honestly what I thought it was going to be going into this. I thought the whole thing was going to be a big D&D campaign. And I thought they were finally going to do that ending that everybody's been talking about, that they were afraid Stranger Things would actually do. And where you find out at the very last couple minutes of the episode that it was a whole D&D campaign, and Nikki never existed and all this shit never existed. I thought that's what they were actually going to do. Which, to be honest, actually would not have been a bad idea. It would justify the fact that this season is, again, kind of messes with the canon a little bit. But again, people would find a way to complain. They'd be like, well, what the hell is the whole point of this? Are we not allowed to just have, fun? Does everything have to have extremely important meaning to it? Are we not just allowed to have a fun show or movie it's just meant for fun and fun only? Not every single thing that gets put out has to advance a story or be part of an overall universe or what have you. We're allowed to have fun, and I think people nowadays really just want everything to be perfect, and if it's not, they get angry about it. And I think if it's not super serious and adult, they bitch about it and they complain and stuff like that. I think people really have lost the idea of fun when it comes to movies and shows. And it's not even just people. I mean, I've done it a lot. There's tons of times where I see things and I'm like, oh, this looks stupid because it's kid-like. What was that movie called that came out last year? K-pop Demon Hunters. I thought, still to this day, it's the stupidest looking thing ever. But people like it. It did very well, because it's fun and people like to have fun. So, but again, I think a lot of us really just kind of, I think a lot of people are just going into this oh, it's not important enough. It's not advancing the story. Why isn't it huge scale? Why isn't it regular Stranger Things? It doesn't do anything. It's too kid-like. Well, that's the point. We are getting more spin-offs. They've already said we're going to get a live-action movie spin-off down the line at some point, right? So yeah, just wait for that. Another thing, though, I do think they should have released this during wintertime, because it is a very winter-centric season. The whole time, there's just snow and blizzards, and it's, again, they're just in tons and tons of snow all the time. I think this would have been a perfect season to release early January, late December of, this year or next year. The fact that they released it in April, and it's set in January is it just feels a little weird, because it's starting to get nice out now. Summer's approaching quickly, and it's we're watching something that's set in the snow. I think it would have been better if you had released it in either this December or next January. And it would have made more sense. Those vibes would have been more felt, especially because a lot of people are inside during that time anyway. It would have been such a nice little fun thing to coop up inside and watch with your family for the holidays. But no, they didn't do that. So that blows that idea out of the sky. They also did release the first 2 episodes of this in theaters, which I didn't go and see. So for those of you who did, I mean, tell me how it was. If it was cool seeing it in theaters. I was going to, but I just it's animated. I don't really see animated stuff in theaters all that often, and I was just like, I'll just wait for it to come out on here. But yeah, those are my thoughts of Stranger Things Tales from '85. I give it like a 4 out of 5. Again, decent enough season. It was fun. It was enjoyable. If you have kids, they'll love it. Again, from the age of 5 to 10, they will eat this up. It is a ton of fun. I definitely recommend watching it. But yeah, that is my review of Stranger Things Tales from '85. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I would love to hear it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.